Is this the future of Xbox controllers? Xbox is cutting short its best deal. Was this Xbox game destined to be another Redfall? What's up, guys, and welcome to Xbox Ready. I am in a new shooting place, a new studio, if you will. Lots of exciting things about to happen for the channel. Not only new shooting spaces, so like I'm not just gonna be at my desk anymore, like getting hit in the face with my MacBook charger or anything. We got lots of really exciting partnerships coming up, lots of exciting events coming up. It's an exciting time for Xbox Ready for the channel because it's an exciting time for Xbox. We're gonna get Starfield and Forza Motorsport in back-to-back months. I'm getting kind of vibes of like fall 2021. Remember that time, guys? Remember when they were like Forza Horizon 5, Psychonauts 2, Halo Infinite, Xbox 20th anniversary? It was a great time. I'm kind of getting similar vibes in fall 2023. And lately I've been posting a lot to my Instagram as well, so if you give me a follow there, I'm at State of Ray, and I'm also on Threads. But enough about that stuff, let's get into the nitty gritty. There's a new controller feature that's being tested out in the Xbox Insider program, and I feel like not a lot of people are talking about it. That's the exact same sentiment that Windows Central has as well, because Jez Corden wrote a whole article about it, and prior to that article, I had no idea that this was a thing that they were working on. But apparently they're testing out this feature that will allow you to go and put keyboard bindings onto your Xbox controller. Now, this is really cool for a number of reasons. Because as we all know, a lot of games that come out on Xbox also come out on PC. But for the longest time, it's like, well, if a game can't really translate to a controller, then it's not gonna come to Xbox. You're not gonna be able to play it with a controller. And as you all know, probably from following this channel, Microsoft and Xbox, they're about to get a treasure trove of PC games, thanks to the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Franchises like Diablo, Overwatch, World of Warcraft. I know people would be super stoked if World of Warcraft made its way over to Xbox consoles. It's like the hotbars for that game can get crazy. They can wrap around your whole dang screen. Well, hopefully this feature will kind of carve a path towards getting those kinds of games onto Xbox consoles, or at least making them work better with a controller or a gamepad. Yes, I know that you can plug in a mouse and keyboard into your Xbox Series X or S. This is something that potentially gives you the best of both worlds, the convenience and the compact nature of playing on a controller, but also adding in some utility that you would find on a keyboard with those extra bindings. Now, as Jez Corden writes up in his article, this won't really matter for standard wireless Xbox controllers. Where this will really shine is with the Xbox Adaptive controller and the Elite Series 2. Any controller that has extra buttons, like, hey, if I could just bind like the Alt and the Shift key to these back paddles on my Elite Series 2, that automatically opens up a bunch of commands that I wouldn't have access to if I didn't have those back buttons. Now, this is both cool and kind of if you're not interested in getting an Elite Series 2. He goes on to admit, saying like that is really the only scenario where this would be really cool for someone, if you had an adaptive controller or if you had a Pro controller with extra buttons on it. But at the end of this article, he makes this kind of suggestion that I actually think is a really good idea. Making back buttons on Xbox controllers standard. And that's something I'm pretty interested in. Now, the question would be, how would Xbox implement that while keeping the cost of regular Xbox controllers down? But we already see a lot of these third-party companies making controllers at reasonable cost with back buttons on them, like 8BitDo and PowerA. So it's not like it would be impossible for Xbox to implement as well. Putting back buttons on controllers would also make Xbox stand out from their competition. Over on Sony PlayStation side, you have, the DualSense tech, you got like adaptive triggers, all this stuff. And it's like, okay, y'all can have that, we're gonna put back buttons on our controllers, and it's just standard out the box. No matter what, this feature that they're working on, which will No matter what, this whole thing with putting keyboard bindings onto your Xbox controller is a really cool option to have if it makes it out of testing. Sure, a lot of games out there, they have really good controller support and they translate really well to controller, like Diablo 4. But for games that don't necessarily meet that criteria, it would be nice to have an option like the one that they're working on. Next up, let's talk about Game Pass. Like I always say, it's not an Xbox Ready video without talking about Game Pass. So for the longest time, Xbox ran this promotion wherein if you paid $1, you get 1 month of Game Pass Ultimate. It ran for a very long time. There were even people like exploiting the deals and things like that. But then they made waves. It was quite controversial when they took the deal away. And that just proves to me, it's like, you can't please everyone, man. You just cannot please everyone. Because for the longest time, when they were running that promotion, people were like,
oh, Game Pass Ultimate? How good can it be when I can just get it for $1?
And then when they took it away, people took to Twitter, Reddit, whatever, and they were like,
why are they taking it away? That's stupid.
Not too long ago, they brought it back. It's been a real like up and down seesaw situation. Will they, won't they? Xbox just give us a straight answer. And now they're further modifying it just in time for Starfield to release, so no longer is it $1 for a month of Game Pass Ultimate. It is $1 for 2 weeks of Game Pass Ultimate, 14 days. And now this makes a little bit more sense to me. Like, it made sense why they would bring back this deal, because they wanted people to try Starfield and Motorsport and all these other games that they're going to be coming out with. But at the same time, they also raised the price of Game Pass. I guess talking through it now, it's like they wanted to raise the price, but also look like, oh, we still have an affordable option. We still have this $1 deal. But in my opinion, this is a good move. This is a fair move. Guys, at the end of the day, it's still $1. It's $1. Like, I don't know what else you want from them for $1. Sure, it's no longer a month, but I feel like 2 weeks is fair, and it's definitely enough time for you to get acquainted with Game Pass, get acquainted with the games on there, and then make a decision, hey, do I want to continue with this or do I not? And it's also smart on Xbox's part, because Starfield is a huge game, obviously. The campaign itself is reportedly going to be 30 to 40 hours long, and then of course there are thousands of planets to explore. So for all the people picking up this deal, wanting to try out Starfield, there's no way that they're gonna get through it in 2 weeks' time, unless you just go complete savage mode and play like all day, every day for those 2 weeks. No sleep, no eating, no like bonding, connecting with people, just straight savage mode. And so Xbox is over here saying like, okay, we brought you in on this $1 deal. You played Starfield, you love it. If you want to keep playing it, either buy the game or commit to a Game Pass subscription. You know what I want to know about? Not this $1 deal, not this other Game Pass stuff. I want to know what's going on with the friends and family plan. Now, if you need a reminder of what I'm talking about, Xbox started to test out this friends and family Game Pass plan, wherein you can have up to 5 people on the same plan. It would cost like $25. We heard about this like last year, early last year, and I was like, that sounds like a really cool idea. Can't wait to learn more. And since then, we haven't really learned anything new about the friends and family plan. They were testing it out in a few countries, and we know that they ended the testing for it. They ended the testing, they got the information, the data that they wanted, I guess, but what's next? Are they gonna be rolling it out? Did they realize like, oh, this is not as great of an idea as we thought it is? We're not gonna do anything with it? What's going on? Other game-related news, Quake 2 Remastered is out now. There were leaks saying that Quake 2 is going to be stealth dropped at some point during QuakeCon. Is QuakeCon going on right now? No, it can't be. Thursday. Is it? Oh, it is today. Which I guess turned out to be true, because as I'm filming this, it is the first day of QuakeCon, August 10th. Now keep in mind, this is a remaster, not a remake, so it's not gonna look like crazy in terms of its updated graphics, but I will say, it does look pretty dang good, and it looks like it runs really well. As I've said in the past, I'm not the biggest Quake guy. I played the first game many years ago, but I did not keep up with the other games in the franchise. But it's always cool to see older games like this get a remaster treatment. It goes a long way in preserving these titles for years to come. Speaking of Xbox games, new releases, one of the games that I'm really looking forward to is Avowed. This is a first-person RPG set in the Pillars of Eternity universe. It is shaping up to be more or less like the fantasy version of The Outer Worlds. Now, I've been looking forward to this game for a long time. Y'all know me at this point. I love all things like swords and sorcery, Lord of the Rings, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, you name it. While we know at this point the game is going to be single player, IGN just put out this article saying that Avowed was originally going to be multiplayer co-op. Now, where have we heard this story before? A studio known mostly for its single-player games. For some reason, working on a game that is multiplayer, co-op, online, it sounds like we were dangerously close to getting another Redfall situation, another Arcane situation. Obsidian studio head and founder had this to say. One of the things where I really pushed was that Avowed was going to be multiplayer and kept on that for a long time. I know in the end it was the wrong decision to keep pushing it. And he continues saying that he felt immense pressure to make this game interesting in his pitch. He says when you're asking for 50, 60, 70 million for this game, you've got to have something interesting to talk about. Multiplayer made it interesting. He goes on to say, like, because of that focus on multiplayer, we had to change so much of what we do at Obsidian. We had to change, like, whole processes, and, like, the chain of command was, like, all messed up because that's just not what they were used to doing. And then eventually, thankfully, they said, you know what, guys, this is not a great idea. We should not be making this a multiplayer game, should not be making this a co-op game. Let's just do single player. And if I had to take a guess, that decision, that change, probably had a lot to do with being acquired by Microsoft. No longer were they like, okay, we don't have to pitch this game to publishers to like raise money or anything like that. We have the financial stability from Microsoft. Let's just make the game that we wanted to make. This is something that we've seen play out a couple of times already. Think about Bethesda before they were bought by Microsoft. Towards the end there, they were making games that were multiplayer focused, live service, battle pass type stuff. Fallout 76, people were like, what the heck, I want a new Fallout game, and this is like an MMO, multiplayer, shooter, like what is going on here? Elder Scrolls Online, that was a little bit earlier, and then Arcane Austin's Redfall was kind of at the tail end of that. They were like, okay, we're gonna take this studio, which is known for making immersive sims that are single player, and have them make this game that is live service, always online, co-op. And we all know how that turned out. A lot of people who worked on Redfall apparently shared this sentiment. They were saying, man, we were silently wishing that Microsoft would come in and reboot the whole thing, so we just start over from scratch. But they didn't. And we had to deal with the fallout as fans and as content creators for months. So I'm really glad that Obsidian decided to say, hey, you know what, forget the multiplayer stuff. Let's just do single player. I know a lot of people are upset because it's like not as dark or not as like serious as the teaser trailer that we saw years ago. I'm still looking forward to this game though, especially because I like what Obsidian does narratively with their games. The gameplay for a lot of their stuff, it's not like groundbreaking, it's not addicting in any way, but their storytelling is really engaging, and you can trace that thread all the way back to the days of Fallout New Vegas. Hopefully going forward, the Xbox first-party studios and all the studios that Xbox and Microsoft are buying out and acquiring, that financial stability from this big mega corporation will allow them to just make the games that they want and the games that the fans want. Now for anyone looking to get a headset, whether you just want one for fun or you need one out of necessity, I ended up buying my headsets that I have for all of my consoles because my wife was like, your games are too loud, pretty much. Your games are too loud, you gotta turn them down. And I'm like, well, you're over here watching Love Island and on full blast, but I was considerate. I was like, okay, I'll go ahead, buy them, I'll game with them on, so it's not like bothering anyone else. Very specific situation, but if there's anyone else out there who needs a headset for any number of reasons, there's actually a really good deal going on for the Xbox wireless headset. It's half off, literally 50% off. Usually it goes for $100. Right now it's going for $49 on Amazon. Now this headset is the one I have, and is it the best headset? No, but it's pretty dang good, especially at the price. And that's what I was thinking when I paid $100 for it. You pay $50 for it, it's definitely worth the price. And I did pay for Dolby Atmos on my Xbox, so it sounds even better. The microphone, it's like, okay, it's not anything great, it'll do the job. And because it's a first-party headset, aesthetically it goes really well with your Xbox or any other accessories that you have. I'm really hoping that this deal is still up by the time this video goes out. Because I think it's a good deal. And very rarely do we see such a steep discount on first-party accessories. Usually we see like 20, 15% off, but half off? That's like, we rarely ever see that. Anyways guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I have for today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready, and we'll see you in the next video. We can like tell it's empty. You can like hear that. Yeah.